In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can securely onboard new starters into your business using the wizardry that is called Phish-resistant MFA. And it's all done within Microsoft 365. Are you ready? Let's go. But before we start, quick intro as always. My name is Jonathan Edwards, also known as the Bearded 365 Guy. I help businesses all over the world with their Microsoft 365. You can get more information at bearded365guy.com. Okay, so we all know these three things. Number one, passwords aren't very secure. Number two, multi-factor authentication is a good thing. And number three, phish-resistant multi-factor authentication is the best form of MFA. So with those three things in mind, wouldn't it be great if users didn't even know what their Microsoft 365 password was? I suppose if they didn't know what the password was, they couldn't accidentally give it away to a hacker, could they? And secondly, wouldn't it be great if all our users used phish-resistant MFA to access their devices and Microsoft 365 apps? I think it'd be blooming marvellous. But how can we achieve all of that within Microsoft 365? Easy. Temporary access passwords, passkeys, Windows Hello for Business, authentication strengths, and conditional access policies. There you go. Oh, would you like me to show you how? Okay, continue watching. Now, before we get into the demo and I show you everything, I do advise you to do a bit of prep work. And that is to migrate from Legacy MFA to Authentication Methods Policies. Now, this might sound really difficult, but it's not. I did create a video on my YouTube channel how to do it. So pause this video and watch that one. Okay, so once you've done that, the first step of the demo is to enable temporary access passwords and passkeys. Let me show you how. Okay, I'm logged into my test Microsoft 365 tenancy as a global admin. What I want you to do is go down to Admin Centers and Identity. Once you're in there, I'd like you to go down to Protection here and just scroll down and choose Authentication Methods. Now you can see these are our authentication methods we have enabled. So the first thing I want to do is enable Passkey FIDO2. So just click on Enable like that. We're going to target all users. That's okay. Go over to the Configure tab like this. Now this might look different on your screen, but you want it to be looking like this. We want the Microsoft Authenticator preview to be enabled. One of these AA GUIDs is for Android and one is for iPhones. So once you're happy with that, you can click on Save. We also want to enable Temporary Access Pass. Okay, so click into there. Again, we're going to target all users. Now on the Configure tab here, I'm just going to close that one there. We can edit it, but I like to just keep these settings as default. So basically, the default lifetime of a temporary access password is just 1 hour. So after that hour, that password expires and it's defunct. I think that's the perfect time. You can choose longer passwords if you want, but because the password expires after an hour, I'm okay with 8 characters. And it says require one-time use. You can make it so as soon as that temp access password has been used, it expires. I set this to no because sometimes users might have a few problems signing in, and if they've typed the password in once and then it expires, it might just cause more problems. So I generally leave this as it is, click on Update, and then click on Save. Okay, once I've done that, I've got my authentication methods that I want. Now we've done that, the next step is to create a new authentication strength in Microsoft 365. This will mean that only the authentication types that I choose can be used. So I will disallow weaker forms of MFA like SMS and voice. Let me show you how. Okay, so we're back in the previous screen, authentication methods. I'm going to hop down here to authentication strengths, okay? Now, Microsoft has built in some authentication strengths. We've got the multi-factor authentication, which gives us medium assurance, and it basically allows most MFA combinations that you can think of. For example, using a password and SMS, which is considered quite weak. And then we've got the passwordless MFA types. So that's these here. And we've also got the phishing resistant MFA types, which includes this here. But what I want to do is create my own. So I'm going to create a new authentication strength and I'll give it a name. So we'll call it Company Auth Strength. Then I'm going to choose Windows Hello for Business, Fido Passkeys, Certificate-Based, Temporary Access Pass One-Time Use, and Temporary Access Pass Multi-Use. So that is my authentication strength. I'm going to ignore all the others and click on Next. And then I'm going to click on Create. Okay, you can see my new Company Auth Strength is there. And I'll be using that later in the video when I configure my new conditional access policy. But for now, that's that bit done. Okay, so we've done all this little bit of prep work. We've now got a new user about to join our organization. So what we need to do is we need to create a new user account. Now, with every user account that we create in Microsoft 365, there is a password hanging around in the back end. But I'm not going to make a note of that because we don't use passwords because I don't like them. So I'm just going to ignore it. Okay, let's do that now. Okay, so back in this page here, the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, let's go to Users, Active Users, and I'm going to add a new user. We'll call this user Minnie Mouse. Okay, Minnie Mouse. Okay, we're allowed a password of between 8 and 256 characters. So I'm going to copy a 50-character random password in this box now. Okay, that's strong. I'm not making a note of that password because I don't want it. I don't need it. Click on Next. Give this user a premium license. Click on Next. Happy with that. Finish adding. There's the password. I'm not interested. So that's the user now added. Okay, now we've got Minnie Mouse set up in our Microsoft 365. The next step is I'm going to create a new conditional access policy. That means that Minnie Mouse has to use the authentication strength that we created earlier. Now, a bit of a word of warning, usually when you're creating conditional access policies, you are assigning them to groups. In this example, I'm just going to assign it to Minnie, but I hope you get the idea. Okay, you can see Minnie Mouse is there, but what I'm going to do now is create this conditional access policy. So scroll down to Admin Centers and Identity, and we'll go back into this portal here. And I'm going to go to Protection, Conditional Access. That will take me to the Conditional Access Overview page. I'm going to create a new policy. I'm going to give this policy a name. Enforce Passkeys for M365 apps. Users who are pointing this policy to. Now, in an ideal world, you're going to create some user groups, okay? If you've got existing users in the system, you want to be careful about choosing all users. But for now, for this test video, I'm going to just choose my single user, who is Minnie Mouse. So she's here, so I will choose her, okay? The target resource is going to be all cloud apps. And I'm going to scroll down to Grant, and I'm going to grant access to Microsoft 365, but I'm going to require a certain authentication strength. And I'm going to choose the one we created earlier, okay? Click on Select. This at the moment is in report only, but I'm going to switch it straight on. It's just a test tenancy. Click on Create, and my conditional access policy is now in place. Okay, it's Monday morning. It's Minnie's first day at work. And what she does, she calls the help desk.
Hi, it's Minnie. It's my first day. I received a package. I assume it's my laptop. How do I get started?
Minnie, welcome. The first thing I want you to do is jump onto your iPhone and download the Microsoft Authenticator app, okay? And whilst you're doing that, I'm just going to create you a temporary access password because we don't use passwords in this business because they're not very secure. And in this business, we like security. Okay, so whilst Minnie's downloading that Authenticator app, I'm back in the Entra Admin Center. I'm going to go to Users, All Users. I'm going to find Minnie in my list. Here she is, so I'll click into here. And then I can go to Authentication Methods. Now you can see at the moment, there's no authentication methods added for Minnie. She's just started, she's never logged in. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Add Authentication Method. I'm going to choose the method, and it's going to be a temporary access pass. Now, these settings were decided when we enabled the policy earlier, and I'm happy with those. This is a nice little feature, delayed start time. So pretending I was creating this temporary access password on a Friday afternoon for a new user starting on Monday morning, I could use this delayed start time. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to click on Add. Now you can see here, this temporary access password has been provided. So Minnie needs to go into the Authenticator app, and then she needs to click on the plus in the top right hand corner. She then needs to choose work or school account, and then click on sign in. It's going to ask for Minnie's email address, so I'll type that in now. Once I've done that, I can click on next, and it's asking not for the password, but it's asking for the temporary access pass. This password will last just an hour. So I'll type the temporary access pass from my screen into here now. Once I'm happy with that, I'll click on sign in. Okay, I'll click on continue. I'll click on register. You can see that this account has been added. And at the top here, you can see that I've now got a passkey. I'll get Minnie to click on continue, and that has been added to my Authenticator app. Okay, so Minnie has now configured her passkey from Microsoft 365 Access, but she's still got her laptop and it's still in its box. So she unboxes it and she boots the laptop up. But what we need to do is configure that with Windows Hello for Business, because remember, we don't use passwords around here. Okay, so Minnie's powered on her new Windows 11 laptop. She's gone through her location, her keyboard settings, and now it's come to whether she wants to set this device up for work or school or personal use. She'll choose work or school and click on next, and then it's going to ask for her email address. So she'll type that in now, and then she'll click on next. And again, it's going to ask for Minnie's temporary access password. So that's the one from before. So I'll type that in now. Okay, click on sign in. It's going to set up that device. Go through this. Go through the setup. Okay, and we've set up Windows Hello in the back end. If you're unsure about Windows Hello, then watch my video all about it. Now, obviously, this is a virtual machine I'm using for Minnie's laptop. Minnie in real life would have a laptop with a webcam and maybe even a fingerprint reader. So my advice is to get people to authenticate with the biometrics for Windows Hello. This is going to be a PIN, which is still considered MFA because it's tied to the device. So I'll type in a new PIN, click on OK, and Minnie will be logged onto her device. What Minnie can also do, she can go to settings, she can go to accounts, expand there, and she's got her sign-in options. So at any time, she can have facial recognition, fingerprint, she can change a PIN, we can start looking at a security key. So what we've done is we've configured Minnie Mouse. She doesn't know what a password is, and she's using phish-resistant MFA for Microsoft 365 and for a device. Okay, so there you have it. That is how you can securely onboard new users into your organization only using phish-resistant MFA. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Look forward to seeing you again soon.